Does your dog sleep a lot with their belly up, or perhaps curled up into a tight little ball right next to you? These sleeping positions aren't just about finding the most comfortable spot. When your doggo often sleeps in specific poses when you're around, it actually reveals how they truly feel towards you. How relaxed and comfortable they are in your presence, how much they trust you completely, or are they secretly hurt by you? Your dog's choice of sleeping pose can give you a deeper insight into their emotions and the bond you share. Stick around to discover what your dog's favorite sleeping spot says about your relationship. Paw over face. There are few things cuter than a dozing dog sleeping with one of their whittle paws held over their eyes. It's just so sweet. As you might expect, one of the main reasons that dogs will cover their eyes in their sleep is because the room they're in is too bright. Dogs are technically diurnal like us, even though their higher requirements for sleep mean that they need to take more naps during the day than we do. Your dog may struggle to sleep in bright sunlight and will use their paw to try and block it out. However, there is another more concerning reason why a dog might insist on covering their face with their paw. If a dog is scared or stressed before they go to sleep, and especially if they're concerned about being attacked, they might decide to put a paw over their face to try and protect their delicate eyes while they're unconscious. Lion pose. Also sometimes referred to as a sphinx pose. This is what it's called when your pup sleeps on their tummy with their back legs sticking out to the side, and their front legs pressed together in front of them, with their head resting on their paws. It's very sweet, but it's a sign that your dog might be feeling a bit anxious. Sleeping on their belly with their front legs together allows your dog to easily jump to their feet and run away should anything scary happen, while their head being on their paws and facing outward, rather than being tucked away or on the floor, means that they can start surveying the room for new dangers the moment they open their eyes again. On their side. By comparison, a dog who just flops over onto their side when it's time for a nap is a dog who is feeling calm and safe. Sleeping on their side means that it's going to take that much longer for your dog to get onto all fours after they wake up. So a dog who does this is very confident their life won't depend on their ability to quickly get up in the morning. Equally, this position exposes the dog's belly, the most vulnerable part of their body. A dog's belly is where they keep their delicate vital organs, and an injury to this area, especially for their wolfish ancestors who wouldn't have had access helpful human vets, could easily become fatal. Your dog sleeps like this because they know that your home is their safe place, and that you would never let anything bad happen to them in it. Superman pose. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? No, it's your pup. They're sleeping in their Superman pose, flat on their belly with their legs all sticking out in different directions, so-called because it makes them look kind of like Superman in mid-flight. Like the lion pose, this position allows your dog to spring into action the moment they wake up again. But unlike the lion pose, a dog in this position is significantly more relaxed. This is the pose that dogs tend to sleep in when they've got all tuckered out during playtime and want to take 40 winks. The Superman pose doesn't allow your pup to actually take flight, but it does mean that they can immediately get up and start playing again once they've rested up. Puppy pile. Sometimes the best place to take a nap is on top of somebody else. As pack animals, dogs often feel most comfortable sleeping alongside their friends, whether they be human or canine. This instinct dates back a long way. For your dog's wild wolf ancestors, sleeping in a puppy pile would not only ensure that there were plenty of ears to listen out for danger while everyone was asleep, it would also strengthen the social bonds that would allow the pack to hunt together and protect each other during the day. For a pack species, teamwork absolutely makes the dream work, and sleeping in a puppy pile at night is a good way to increase everyone's chances of surviving the next day. In a ball. Dogs are extremely flexible, and this is never more apparent than when they choose to sleep with their spine curved so much that they end up curled into a ball. It's a cozy-looking position, and a surprisingly practical one. By curling up into a ball, your pup reduces the surface area of their body and ensures that no part of their belly is exposed to the open air, keeping their core nice and warm. However, like with the lion pose, this posture will also be used by dogs who are feeling too nervous to sleep with their belly on display and are trying to provide themselves with some kind of protection by making sure that their belly and their head are both shielded by their back when they sleep. If your dog sleeps this way with their back facing you, then that suggests that they're not entirely sure that you are safe to sleep around. With their head on a pillow. This is a deceptively adorable pose. Your dog is sleeping with their head raised up on a pillow or the side of their bed, just like a human. They think they're people. But your dog might not be doing this purely for the comfort. Some dogs are just weirdos who like sleeping with their head in the air. But if your pup is a brachycephalic breed, like a pug or French bulldog, then a tendency to sleep on a pillow might be a sign that they need a vet visit. These breeds are prone to breathing problems due to their flat noses, and will sometimes be forced to sleep with their heads raised to help relieve the pressure on their airways and keep them from struggling to breathe in their sleep. On their tummy. We've already mentioned that dogs will often sleep on their tummy as a way to protect themselves, but that's not the only reason why they'll do it. Dogs will also sleep on their tummies, especially if they can find a flat, cool surface to do it on, as a way to cool down their core. With their tongue out. This can be a slightly worrying pose, since it might look at first glance like your dog is sick or even dead. A healthy human would never sleep with their tongue out, not unless they wanted to wake up with the worst dry mouth ever. But dogs are different. A dog who sleeps with their tongue out is feeling incredibly relaxed. Like a human who dozes off with a book in their hand. The dog is calm and blissed out and has decided to have a little snooze, forgetting to put their tongue back in their mouth. Under blankets. Oh, sometimes a lump in the bed isn't just a lump in the bed. A lot of dogs like nothing more than to cozily burrow underneath your blankets and have a little nap. Dogs find sleeping under a blanket comfy for roughly the same reasons we do. It's warm and the light weight of a blanket on your body can help you sleep more easily. Sleeping in a dark, enclosed place also helps them feel safe from predators. Plus, and most adorably, they're likely to want to sleep under your duvet specifically because your blankets have your scent. And there's nothing more comforting for your pooch than being able to smell you nearby while they're dropping off to sleep. Running and barking. Like all mammals, dogs can dream. We obviously have no way of knowing exactly what they dream about, but by looking at how they move the sounds they make in their sleep, we can speculate. Dogs will often bark, twitch, whine, or even kick their legs like they're trying to run while they're asleep. This suggests that when they dream, they're probably reliving the things that they do in their day-to-day lives, like barking at squirrels or running after sticks. Dead dog pose. Don't worry, your pup is perfectly fine. This sleeping pose is so called because it can look kind of like a cartoon drawing of a dead dog, lying on their back with all four legs in the air. This is one of the most trusting poses a dog can sleep in, as it puts their tummy on full display and means that they'll have to roll all the way over in order to get to their feet again when they wake up. Sleeping this way does, however, ensure that their tummy and all four legs get the maximum amount of exposure to the cool breeze on a hot summer day. Snoring. Your dog snoring might sound cute, but it's not a good sign. Snoring can often be an indication that your dog is having problems breathing in their sleep, especially if they're a brachycephalic breed. This isn't always the case. If your dog only snores occasionally, or only when they're sleeping in certain positions, then it's probably fine. But if they are snoring whenever they fall asleep, then that's a sign that you should probably take them to a vet. On your bed. Just like sleeping under the covers, sleeping on top of your bed allows your dog to have access to your scent, but without having to be under a blanket on a hot day. Your dog also knows that the bed is where you sleep, and if it's getting late, their pointedly lying on the bed might be their way of saying, "Hey human, it's bedtime." Even though your pooch probably can't tell time, it's extremely common for dogs to learn their humans' routines, and for them go get upset if that routine is unexpectedly disrupted. Eyes open. This can look a little creepy, but it's generally fine. Your dog is asleep, but their eyes are still open, just unfocused and staring into space. This can sometimes indicate that they're not fully asleep yet. They're still just on the verge of nodding off and are keeping their eyes open for as long as possible to keep a lookout for potential dangers. A lot of dogs will open their eyes partway while in REM sleep, the sleep stage in which dreams happen. This can be concerning for inexperienced dog owners who might interpret open eyes to mean that their dog is awake and that their unfocused gaze and unresponsiveness is a sign of some medical problem. If this is you, don't worry. It's highly unlikely that it's anything to worry about. The worst-case scenario for a dog sleeping with open eyes is that they have some kind of eye infection, or worse, that they can't shut their eyes. Flat-faced breeds, including pugs and Boston Terriers, can sometimes end up with eyes so big that their eyelids can't fully cover them. These dogs will always sleep with their eyes open, rather than just some of the time. With a toy. Just like many humans, a lot of dogs can't sleep without their favorite stuffy. This can be especially common in dogs who live in single-dog households and who may want to try and satisfy their instinctive need to sleep alongside a pack member, even while their human is out of the house. Your dog's comfort item might be a teddy or a toy animal, or it might be a blanket or even a pilfered piece of clothing. Some dogs might try to steal discarded items that have your scent so that they can feel like you're with them. However, sleeping with toys can sometimes be a sign of something more concerning. Some dogs might get anxious about their precious items being taken away, and so will try to guard them even in their sleep. In extreme cases, this behavior can escalate into dogs refusing to let anyone come near them while they're asleep, or even having trouble falling asleep at all if there is anyone else in the room. Spooning. Spooning is when two dogs sleep next to each other, with one dog's back being against the other dog's tummy. Usually the outside dog, or big spoon, will be larger, and the inside dog, or little spoon, will be smaller. This heartwarming sleep position allows two very close doggy friends to offer each other support and protection while they're asleep. The small dog gets the reassurance that their large friend is nearby to protect them from danger, and the big dog gets a living hot water bottle in the form of their little bud. In a nest. You might be surprised to learn that, just like birds, female dogs like to make themselves nests. A dog who is nesting will start by looking for a private, warm place that feels like it would be a safe place for puppies. They'll then start retrieving soft things from around the house to make it nice and cozy in there. Unfortunately, doggy interior design tends to favor a scrap heap aesthetic, and so it's likely that any likely-looking nesting material that your pup gets a hold of when they're going through this phase is going to get shredded. As you might have guessed, dogs usually nest when they're expecting puppies. But what if you notice your dog starting to nest, even though there's no way she could be pregnant? Do you ring up your local church and let them know that you've got a canine virgin birth on your hands? No. If your dog seems to be prepping for puppies, but she doesn't have a bun in the oven, then that's a sign that she might be experiencing a phantom pregnancy, a condition that mimics the hormonal changes of pregnancy. This can sometimes even happen with dogs who have been spayed, if the spaying happened at the wrong time of their heat cycle. This can be very distressing to your dog, who might not understand why she doesn't end up with any new babies to look after. So if you notice that your dog has started building herself a private nest to sleep in, then you should consider consulting a vet for support. In a hole. Dogs love to dig. You might think that your pooch likes digging up your yard because they're either hiding or looking for bones, but food storage is only one of the reasons why your dog likes to get their paws dirty. Dogs will also dig to build themselves shelters to sleep in, a behavior that dates back to their wild wolf ancestors. A hole in the ground might not sound like a great place for a nap, but for your dog it's likely to be surprisingly comfortable. On a hot summer day, sleeping on freshly unearthed soil will often be cooler than sleeping on a patch of ground that's been warmed by the sun. On a winter's day, on the other hand, a dugout burrow can provide shelter from cold winds and rainfall. Hopefully, your dog won't actually need to build these kinds of shelters for themselves, as they'll have access to your home, but their wild instincts might not be quelled by the knowledge that they can go back inside and sit in the warm at literally any point, and so they still feel the need to dig. Butt facing you. Your dog sleeping with their butt facing you might feel a bit ill-mannered, but it's actually a sign of trust. You're probably aware that dogs like to sniff each other's butts as a greeting. This is because a dog's butt has special glands that contain a pheromone scent that is, thankfully, undetectable to humans, but can tell another dog anything from their mood, to their health, to their relationship status. Your pup showing you their butt, therefore, is their way of trying to share information about themselves with you. When they're asleep, it also puts them in a position where they would be unable to defend themselves easily if you attack them, as their main defensive weapon, their teeth, would be facing away from you. As a result, dogs will only sleep this way around the people they really trust. Back to back. A dog will only sleep back to back with another dog or a human if they have a deep, loving bond with that individual. Sleeping with their back to you carries the same risks as sleeping with their butt facing you, but also involves having their tummy exposed to attack. A dog who sleeps in this position is sacrificing their ability to shield their vital organs so that they can properly show you how much they love you. If your dog chooses to sleep with their back pressed against your back, you should treat it as a great personal honor. By the way, do you leave your dog alone for more than 4 hours straight? Then you need to know this. Check out this video about what you absolutely have to do when you leave your dog home alone.